on my seat by 82%. Know this, I am gonna come through on a landslide just like Trump did. Know that I will be victorious in the...
It now appears if she wants to run for supervisor again, it will have to be as a write-in candidate.
The self-proclaimed super mayor of Downton, Illinois, and Thornton Township supervisor has hit a major roadblock in her political career. The embattled politician, who has spent years dodging controversy and criticism, lost her bid for re-election as Thornton Township supervisor during a chaotic Democratic caucus. This event not only marks the end of her dual role as super mayor status, but also sets the stage for what many are calling her political decline. Let's break down how the drama unfolded. In Thornton Township, candidates vying for the supervisor position must submit a full slate that includes a supervisor, highway director, clerk, assessor, and 4 trustees. The tenured slate was missing a certified assessor, which automatically disqualified her. This technicality opened the door for state senator and Thornton Township committeeman Napoleon Harris to swoop in and claim the nomination for himself. Harris, who had the full slate required by the rules, walked away, victorious, leaving Henyard and her supporters fuming. Now, this wasn't just any ordinary political loss. The caucus that sealed Henyard's fate was the first of its kind in Thornton Township in 30 years. Traditionally, the township held primary elections, but Harris made the controversial decision to hold a caucus. Instead, a move Henyard claims was a deliberate attempt to oust her. And let's just say the atmosphere was nothing short of electric. Hundreds of people gathered at the Homewood Flosmore Park District Auditorium to witness the showdown, with emotions running high on both sides. The room reached a 600-person capacity early, leaving many of Henyard Bussin supporters stuck outside in the cold. This logistical hiccup only fueled Henyard's claims of unfairness, with her alleging that the process amounted to
on how the Democratic caucus works right here in Thornton Township. You can also say that she flunked out because her name is not appearing on the ballot.
But let's not forget the real kicker. When Harris's name was announced as the Democratic nominee, the crowd erupted into cheers, and some began singing the infamous "Nah nah, hey hey, kiss him goodbye" chant. Talk about adding insult to injury. Henyard, visibly upset, stormed out of the auditorium, shouting accusations of illegality and vowing to sue everyone involved. This is illegal, Napoleon, she yelled, pointing fingers at Harris. Her dramatic exit was met with a mix of boos and laughter, cementing the night as one of the most humiliating moments in her political career. What are you...
Tonight, if you don't get the Democratic Party's nomination.
What do you mean? I will be victorious tonight. You will see. My people are here.
Anything like it. Many noted that Thornton Township politics had been relatively calm for decades under Frank Zuccarelli, who held the supervisor position unopposed for nearly 30 years. His demise in 2022 left a power vacuum, and Yard's controversial rise into that role was met with mixed feelings. For some, she represented a fresh face in a stale system, but others saw her as an outsider with questionable motives. The caucus, they said, felt like the culmination of months of tension within the township's democratic structure. Adding to the absurdity of the evening was the fact that many of Henyard's supporters were seen aimlessly wandering outside the venue, visibly confused and frustrated. Some complained that they had been told by Henyard's team that their presence alone would secure her victory. "We came all the way out here for nothing," one supporter said, shaking their head. "They told us this was in the bag." Meanwhile, inside the auditorium, Harris's team maintained that the room had been filled hours before the start of the caucus, and those left outside had simply arrived late. The logistical failures, combined with Henyard's combative attitude, only seemed to solidify her reputation as someone unable to effectively organize or lead.
It's the right way. Illegal.
Tiffany Henyard's political career took a sharp and public downturn in just 7 minutes, the time it took for her to lose the Democratic nomination for Thornton Township supervisor. She left the meeting visibly upset, a moment that observers say symbolizes not just a loss of a nomination, but a potentially irreparable blow to her credibility. How do you rally people behind you after such a public embarrassment? And I have to admit, in a sentence, that is pretty impressive. One observer noted, even Henyard's most loyal allies seem to be reconsidering their support, with rumors circulating that some of her closest advisors are distancing themselves from what increasingly appears to be a sinking ship. Henyard's rise to power was marked by ambition and controversy. Appointed Thornton Township supervisor in 2022, after the death of longtime supervisor Frank Zuccarelli, she was already serving as mayor of Dalton, a position she secured in 2021 with over 80% of the vote. This dual role earned her the nickname Super Mayor, but also drew criticism, with many questioning whether she could effectively manage both positions. Her tenure has been plagued by allegations of financial mismanagement, reckless spending, and a tumultuous relationship with the Dalton Village Board. Reports have accused Henyard of using taxpayer money for personal luxuries, including excessive spending on security, extravagant dinners, and even flights to Las Vegas. One particularly damning claim involves her use of township credit cards for purchases at Amazon, Target, and Walgreens. Reportedly spending over $40,000 on Amazon in a single day. Critics have labeled her actions as reckless and self-serving, compounded by a sharp financial decline in Dalton's general fund, which fell from a surplus of over $5 million in 2022 to a deficit of $365 million by mid-2024. This started as a grassroots movement, organic in its origins, said one observer, describing the growing public dissatisfaction. Henyard's leadership style has also come under scrutiny, often described as abrasive and authoritarian. At one village board meeting, she reportedly declared, "You work for me," further straining relationships with local officials and residents. As her critics continue to mount pressure and her allies falter, Henyard faces a formidable challenge in salvaging her reputation and career amidst growing discontent and allegations of poor governance. And I'm for them, the leader they want to hear from the mayor. You all learn that yet the mayor, not the trustees that Duck do. Nothing, they only run their mouths. You all don't do no work, no. Tiffany Henyard's leadership style, marked by divisive rhetoric, has alienated many colleagues and led to frequent clashes with trustees and local officials. Critics have accused her of leveraging her position to target political opponents, with allegations ranging from withholding permits for Park District improvements to orchestrating police raids on businesses that declined to support her. The recent caucus drama further spotlighted her controversial approach. It wasn't determined to secure support. Henyard arranged for seniors to be bused to the event using Thornton Township vehicles. However, the plan backfired spectacularly when the buses arrived late, leaving many of her supporters stranded outside the venue. This logistical failure became fodder for her detractors, with one commentator mocking, "Supporters were bussed in, the bus was late. Classic Tiffany." Henyard's critics have long questioned her ability to handle responsibility. When she won, it was like she hit the lottery, but responsibility was nowhere to be seen, wrote another. Others pointed out the irony of her claiming to represent the people's voice, while her own actions undermined her base's participation. Despite losing the caucus nomination, Henyard has remained defiant. She announced plans to challenge the results in court, alleging voter suppression and procedural manipulation. "I will be suing everyone tomorrow," she declared. Her attorney, Max Solomon, backed her claims, accusing her opponent, Harris, of rigging the process. However, election law experts have noted that the caucus system is legal in Illinois and has been used by other townships for decades. Henyard's options moving forward are limited. She can still run for Thornton Township Supervisor, but only as a write-in candidate, a daunting prospect. Nonetheless, her supporters remain hopeful, with one ally expressing optimism about her resilience and ability to fight back against the odds. Enough people know her name to write her in, and I believe we could still win it. The odds are heavily stacked against Tiffany Henyard as public frustration with her leadership continues to grow. Even in Dalton, where she serves as mayor, residents are calling for change. At a recent village board meeting, many attendees turned their backs on her as she spoke, a symbolic gesture that underscores her declining popularity. The calls for new leadership in Dalton and the south suburbs have intensified, bolstered by ongoing investigations into her administration.